Right, apologies for starting late. I just had to have my password changed yet again on my iPad. That's what we do. Us old people. Are we not online? Perfect.
You can blame the tech.
Let's make a load of quick decisions.
There's no one on.
Is there no one on?
Are we streaming? We are streaming now.
I think we need a better sales comms line, don't we, to get more people engaged in doing council meetings. What can you do to jazz us up, Emma? A new cast list. Bring back Tony G. That's the way to start a meeting.
It's
Right.
Public meeting.
Good evening, members. Welcome to this meeting. Apologies if you've been waiting online, but the meeting started late due to some IT issues. Have we got any apologies for absence?
None received, Chair.
Thank you, Nina. Have we any declarations of interest? No, thank you very much. The first item of business is the minutes of the meeting dated the 12th of February, which are in your papers, which I hope you've all read. Can I propose that they are taken as a true and correct record? Does anyone want to second that? That's Councillor Hilton. Any comments, queries, questions, corrections? No. All those in favour of accepting those, please show. Excellent. Any public questions? Nina, please.
None received.
Great, thank you. And the first item of business is item 4, the utility procurement gas contract, which you just give me a moment to get to my page, is myself. Sorry, I apologise. Councillor Wilson's going first because he's got somewhere to be. So I'm going to promote his the agenda, so we'll go straight to item 5. We'll do item 4 later. Well, remember, Councillor Wilson.
Thank you.
You remembered me 10 minutes ago about it.
I reminded you 6.5 minutes ago and you managed to forget, yeah. But thanks anyway. So the first item is strategic risk register. This is something we update regularly and members can see on page 17 below and very interesting charts. The 4 paragraphs there outline the changes that we've had from the last time we reported. So we knew risk of failure to have a motivated and resilient workforce is, as it says in the report, a merger of 3 other risk measures which we previously had, which again hopefully encompasses them all. The second, the failure of ICT security and data protection has just been widened to failure of ICT security and information management. And then the new risk of failure to manage the use of artificial intelligence, which I think probably speaks for itself in terms of why it's there, given the growth and impact of AI on everything that we all do. Over the page on page 18 highlights the areas where we are in the red, as it were, so where the risk is the highest. Local government reorganisation, clearly that's coming, but clearly there's still so many unanswered questions in relation to that in terms of the shape of it, the timing of it, etc. Failure to manage the use of artificial intelligence, again, obviously that's a new risk that we just mentioned, so again that is there because again that is something that's evolving and changing rapidly. And then the last is poor financial sustainability, which slightly contradictory this in the sense that in one sense the financial position that we set out in the budget is obviously a good one, but of course the risk in terms of measuring your risk moving forward, again with all the unknowns that we're talking about linking to not just local government reform but future funding as well, that clearly has to be highlighted as a higher risk to the authority. Other than that, Chair, there's nothing new on the register from last time, and they're the only areas to highlight as issues of note.
Thank you, Councillor Wilson. Are there any questions or comments around that strategic risk review? Risk register review? No, can't see any in the room. So that's proposed by Councillor Wilson. We note the recommendations in paragraphs 2 and 3. Seconded by anybody? Thank you, Councillor Law. All those in favour, please show. Good stuff, thank you very much. So we skip on to item 6, which is the culture strategy, which is on pages 35 to 80 of your agenda. Councillor Wilson.
Thanks again, Chair. Yep, so the cultural strategy is something that we've been developing now for many, many months. So this is a separate piece of work to the work that we've seen publicised recently, which is the bid for the Town of Culture. Obviously, clearly they both link in,
but this is actually something that we instigated last year, and it was identified by both officers and members as an area where we can look to expand and grow and use the cultural strategy to encourage more people to visit, encourage more people to spend time and money in the borough, but also to enhance the offer to local residents as well. So the strategy has come about after many months of consultation with local stakeholders and groups that we hope to involve, not just now in terms of this part of the work, but obviously as we move forward in progressing with the strategy. And I think there on we've got page 36, the key actions. So we're looking again at developing a narrative which is aligned to our destination management plan, which again we've discussed and looked at in some detail prior to this. We're looking at, again, using our public spaces. We're looking at offering more cultural events. We're looking at, again, expanding the use of Astley Hall as part of that. And just as mentioned, the wider events programme. And also to establish a cultural network as well, where, again, we bring in a number of those partners that we've already been working with to actually enhance the future work on the cultural offer. And looking at ways to support skills development, key creative industries, and get also external funding as well to support that work. So there's a number of elements to the strategy and to the plan going forward. What I would say is that it is very much a piece of work that's evolved and come about from, like I say, those consultations. But at the same time, it's not something that will sit still. It will evolve and it will change. And obviously, as part of that, the Town of Culture bid, if successful, would be a major cornerstone of rolling out that strategy and really sort of putting the focus on the cultural offer in the borough. So we hope that is successful, but whether that is successful or not, we still continue with this work.
Thank you, Councillor Wilson. Any questions on that strategy, that report? No. I know there's been heavy involvement of lots of people involved in this. It highlights many of the great things that we do in the borough, and also focuses on the fact that we do lots of things in this borough by lots of people, not the council particularly, but our residents and our communities, and we need to support that moving forwards, and this is a framework for doing that. So hopefully it will be successful. Right, on that basis, the recommendation is to review and approve the cultural strategy for Chorley, proposed by Councillor Wilson, seconded by, thank you, Councillor Murray. All those in favour, please show. That's carried. Right, you can depart, Councillor Wilson. Your evening is concluded. Right, so we'll go back to item 4, which is the utility procurement of the gas contract. And as the report points out, the recommendation to appoint a supplier for our gas contract. The electric part will be renewed from 2027 because it's currently valid until 2027, so this will have to come back to a separate cabinet meeting. And the report details that we've previously used a company called Inspired Energy PLC as the council's utility management agent to secure us the best rates for our power, for our electric and our gas, in this particular instance for our gas. We have gone out to a framework, which is the Countess of Chester Hospital NHS Foundation Trust framework, which is something that's a bit of an expert in this field, and we've utilised that framework before now, and we have tasked our advisors and our utility specialists to look to procure all our different utilities, and we've previously discussed about water and water disposal at this meeting. The proposal is for gas, which is estimated to be an annual cost of circa £240,000, to enter into a contract with Corona Energy. At the moment, because we're going through quite a lot of changes with the decarbonisation schemes, particularly in the town hall and other, so the leisure centre in particular, and Brinscombe Bath and community centres, it's hoped that we'll be able to get a greater savings in the future once we've settled those buildings down. We're using less energy, and we'll look to fix our prices at that point to a better deal, because at the moment we're still using a high volume of gas in particular in most of those buildings for heating, etc., and particularly heating swimming pools. So we need to have one approach now and probably change that in due course once we're paying less overall because we've done that energy efficiency work. So it details in the report it's a 12-month fixed contract, therefore to give us that ability to renegotiate in a year's time once the decarbonisation work is finished. And this obviously aligns with our green agenda, and hopefully will also, on the back of that, provide us with savings as well. The report seems quite self-explanatory to me. Happy to take questions on it. And I note the recommendations in paragraphs 2 and 3. Any comments or questions on that report? Anybody has? No. In that case, I'm proposing it. Who's seconding that, please? Councillor Hilton. All those in favour, please show. Yeah, that's carried. Right. We move then to the next item of business is Councillor Lowe, and it's the item 7, the Customer Access Charter.
Thank you, Chair. To gain approval for the proposed new Customer Access Charter, which is shown in Appendix 1 of the report. It's been reviewed and updated to align with our current corporate vision and expected high standards for customers accessing our service. Members appreciate that the current charter was adopted back in April 2023. Since its adoption, the Council has implemented several significant operational changes, and it's important that we retain a charter that supports our residents while clearly outlining the service standards to be expected. If members go to paragraph 11, that shows the differences between the current charter and the proposed charter and the benefits of the changes. And the other point I'd make, Chair, is that technically we have a generic email address for customer service, but we find that is no longer effective. So the recommendations are that paragraphs 2 and 3 of the report that we approve implementation of the Charter from the 1st of April and that we approve the phased switch off of the generic customer service inbox.
Thank you, Councillor Lowe, for that. Any questions on comments on that report? Anybody's got? Again, it seems an eminently sensible proposal. No. Councillor Lowe has proposed that we take the recommendations in paragraphs 2 and 3. Who's seconding that, please? Councillor Howarth, thank you. All those in favour, please show. That's carried. Right, I'm going to propose that we exclude the public and press. If somebody would second that, we're going to move on to part 2, thank you. And all those in favour, please show on that. Right,